Let's say we have a good session today. About 7 o'clock is good morning. We can ready to get started in 1 second. Let's see, switching over to YouTube. YouTube should be working in 1 quick second. We got Facebook working right now as well. Let's see if that one's only ready to go. Yeah. Okay, and we are live. This is Travis Witherspoon from Carter Capital, helping you fight for your financial freedom throughout the Forex market. I haven't said that in a while. Hopefully everybody's doing very well. This is Trade with Travis. I'm getting ready to switch over to the disclaimer so everybody can be able to see that. We can go ahead and get started. But for the people on Instagram, for the people on YouTube and everything else like that, thank you for being able to hop in. Herb, what's going on with you? Hope everything's going well. If you want to see my charts live, you can go to Trade with Travis on YouTube and be able to see it from there. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision about Forex trading. Now, understand that Forex involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money, also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you're going to end up making money today. All right, I'm getting ready to drop in the YouTube link on Instagram. I'm just going to give you my actual name because this is a new Instagram, or not Instagram, new YouTube. I don't have the website fully yet. Where I can just change it to Trade with Travis. I think I got a couple more days before I can be able to change it to Trade with Travis just for the website. So if you just go to Trade with Travis and look at that, you'll see me live. There's no one that has that name. And you can be able to go from there. So I hope everybody's doing very well. Now, before we end up getting started, like always, remember the end of the month is coming very soon, October 26th, October 30th. We're going to end up holding our boot camp. Remember, it's a 5-day session. Each and every day, you're going to end up learning something new to be able to get started within that overall plan. Once you end up getting to that point, what I'm going to end up giving from this overall session is you're going to end up getting an equity management plan. You're going to learn how to be able to set up your brokers, which brokers to look for, which brokers to look out for when it comes down to that overall plan. What is Forex? Trading terminology. Being able to understand how to be able to trade other people's money. This is a very good course for a person that's looking to be able to get started when it comes down to Forex trading, but does not want to be able to put in that healthy investment when it comes down to being able to get started at the beginning, right? A small little investment just to be able to understand what it actually is, how it actually works. Should you trust me? Obviously, when it comes down to being able to do that and being able to trade in general, it's one of those things that I think is very healthy when it comes down to being able to learn. And it's always good to invest in yourself. So use that as an advantage of being able to get started. Obviously, we've been doing Trade with Travis for going on almost 10 months now, and we've been doing the boot camp for about the same amount of time. So learned from everybody's experiences, and we got a lot of great stuff that's going to end up happening within that. So hopefully you can be able to join. I'm going to end up sending the link inside of the chat box so you can be able to go from there. I don't want to mess up your name, but I'm going to say Fatimata. Hey, how you doing? If you want to see what I'm actually doing live, you can go to Trade with Travis on YouTube and actually see my link from there and see my charts. But thank you for hopping on. I'm going to place this inside of the chat box right now for both links. It's bit.ly/believe in yourself Forex to be able to get yourself tickets from there. Once again, it's only $20 a day. That $20 a day will end up being a very great investment for you to be able to get started and be able to learn everything that you want to be able to learn from the Forex market and being able to go from there. So that's the first thing. Let's go ahead and get started from there. Let's see, I'm placing that inside of the chat box of YouTube. There you go. And I'm going to end up placing that. I'll place that inside of the chat box at the end of the session when we come down to Facebook. So here we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at the economic calendar. What ended up happening yesterday was that Nancy Pelosi was trying to see if they can get this deal done with the stimulus check. They said if they can get it done within the next 48 hours, they possibly could be able to have it done before, possibly can be able to have it completed, and possibly could be able to get your stimulus checks before November the 3rd. Now, what's significant about November the 3rd? That's when, obviously, that election is going to end up ending. Matter of fact, while I'm saying that, please make sure that you end up going out and voting. Me and my wife actually ended up taking the opportunity to be able to go out and vote with our kids yesterday. Got it done very quickly, walked in and walked out. There's a lot of different places that allow you to be there early vote. So take advantage of being able to do that as well while we go through and be able to hop in. Okay. Now, a little bit later on today, what we're going to end up seeing is this. Chair Powell is going to end up speaking. Matter of fact, that already happened. That was Monday. Let's take a look at Tuesday. So for Tuesday, what are we looking at? We're seeing that today is going to end up being a trader's day. It's not going to be much news that's going to end up affecting the overall market. If we look at what's happening with the U.S., you're going to end up seeing building permits and housing starts. It's not going to affect that much when it comes down to it. And being able to take a look at that a little bit later on today, you're going to end up seeing retail sales from Australia. So that would be the only thing that I would kind of pay attention to for the overall market. Now let's bring that into looking at the big three. If you're new with us, what we do with the big three is we take a look at all of the trading pairs from an index perspective, meaning that we looked at all of the pairs collectively and see how well they're going to end up doing or how well they're not doing. And then after that, it gives us an identifier on what we should be doing for overall trading. Should we be buying on that pair or should we be selling on that pair? All right, the three pairs that we end up looking at from that is the U.S. dollar index. We look at oil, and then after that, we look at gold. You have a trader's account that is a non-regulated broker, kind of like Hugo's Way. You can be able to trade out. You can be able to trade gold, and you can be able to trade the U.S. dollar index. Also Bitcoin and a few other things, and we also end up taking trades on those. So get ready to switch on my screen. That's what it looks like. Currently, right now, the market is still considered to be bullish, short term. Now, the weekly is getting up to the sell zone very quickly. But the daily is still in this actual swing that has not been completed right here where the market has to get to 12,000. I'm sorry. Where the market has to get to 12,279. So if we're looking at this market right now, where are we at? We have a counter trend line break bullish. Basically, we're getting close to the sell zone, but we're still past this overall area and it gives us confirmation. So the market is considered to be bullish once more, but it's very close to the sell zone. So the question is, should I be looking to buy at this particular point in time? Yes, if you're only looking to be able to scout the market. If you're only being able to look to scout the market, then absolutely. You're just trying to go out to 20 to 30 to maybe even 50 pips a day when it comes down to your trading. Yes, I would say I would look at being able to do that. But no, if you're trying to be able to swing trade. Because the daily is getting closer to the sell zone, we're probably going to end up seeing more sellers come in on this activity and look to be able to sell it down when it comes down to this overall pair. All right, now, if you are interested in being able to scout the market, we have to take a look at it from a 2-hour perspective. And then from that 2-hour perspective, you will have an opportunity to be able to trade. Question is, right now, could you be able to get into the U.S. dollar index right now? The answer would be no again, because if we look at the market, it's in the no trade zone in the stochastic. And quite frankly, I don't think that we're very close to being able to be inside of that sweet spot area. The sweet spot area happened a little bit earlier yesterday when it came down to that move. So I will pay attention to that. Now, if you want to be able to get in, what I would do is that I will look at the outer trend line first. And this is considered your Excuse me. And this is considered your outer trend line. And then after that, I will look at being able to trade off of this counter trend line right here. Let's see, which will be your inner trend line. You get a break off of that inner trend line in the buy zone. Then after that, you'll look to be able to trade that. But right now, we're only going to buy low prices in the buy zone. If we end up getting that, then obviously we have an opportunity that we can go from there. So US dollar index right now, I would not trade it. I would not look at entering my first trade today anyway. Okay, just keeping that in mind. Let's take a look at what's happening with oil. Oil has gotten to a point to where it's basically up at resistance again. Okay, remember, we said that this market has been consolidating. It's been consolidating for about 30 days based off of this movement. Let me see how many bars this is, and I can tell you exactly. The market has been moving for about 30 days. Now, the best part about this is that, remember, we said that we wanted to buy at support, we wanted to sell at resistance. If we can get the market at resistance, then after that, we'll look at selling it within this overall move. The market is at 41.39. The resistance is basically at $41. If we're interested in being able to take a sale at this particular point, we have the okay to be able to do so. Now, remember, when the market is in consolidation, you don't look at being able to the stochastic really doesn't matter. So if I'm looking at the stochastic and I see it at 70%, to me, I could care less about that. I'm only looking at the resistance and support play on this overall move. Now, the question would be, okay, how well is the Canadian dollar trading, and what's going to end up happening based off of this move? We know that there's not going to end up being any trading when it comes down to this overall pair as of yet to the upside. Or no economic news that's going to really affect the market when it comes down to this market as of yet. So let's keep that in mind. If we take a look at a currency strength chart, we want to see where's the Canadian dollar at this particular point. The Canadian dollar is in purple, still basically at 15. So that means that the market is not moving very quick, not moving very heavily right now at this particular point. And it has not been moving yesterday. Did not make a very good move yesterday. Yesterday, it actually ended up was basically negative again. So more sellers were actually in the market yesterday as well. So what I would look for is that if we have an opportunity, I will look at being able to sell on this overall trading pair. Let's go to the 2 hour and let's see if there's any opportunity to be able to get in. And especially on this pair, you can definitely see the top of the range when it comes down to what's actually happening for us being able to sell right now. We look at this rectangle. This was the high price before. There goes your low prices right there. That would be the consolidation that we looked at from the last 2 hours. I mean, from the last few times that the market has came up. That was the highest price. The highest price was at 41.30. The average consolidation was been right around in this area. So this is what I will look for, just to be safe. What I would say is that you want to take an overall entry right now, you possibly could. Now, understand that the stochastic on the 2 hours getting very close to the buy zone, so there may end up being a little bit more buying pressure. If you do get in, I will place my stop just above the swing high of both of these moves. So my stop will be above the swing high of this overall area. I'll put it at 41.50, probably around. Let's see. We want to go about 15 to 20 pips above, because if we're wrong, we want to be wrong very quickly, especially in consolidation. I would say place the stop around that 41.55 area. Let's see, if we go 41.55 from here, and we sell it back down to the 39.30 area, then obviously we have an area to where we can be able to take the profit from there. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at right here as the overall play. Now, I always say don't trade without confirmation, and the confirmation will end up being the rejection of this overall spot. We had an early rejection a little bit earlier. I would go ahead and look at being able to place in a market entry at this particular point right now. Anywhere above 41.20 or above there would end up being a good price to be able to go from there. Typically, I would look at a counter trend line break. You want to be very very tight on this one to be correct on this overall move. I would say on the 5 minute, let's see if we can get a counter trend line break on the 5 minute. Once we end up getting that counter trend line break on the 5 minute, you're good to go. But quite frankly, we've already had that break. So I would personally look to sell. Forex, what's going on? I would personally look to sell at this particular point in time. Matter of fact, I am going to end up selling. at this particular time. I'm going to take off my phone on Instagram real quick. I'm just going to pause this so I can go ahead. Well, matter of fact, I can enter this trade somewhere else. I do it on my Hugo's way. So I am interested in being able to take that right now. Just give me 1 second so I can mark this up real quick and see what the stop loss is and what the take profit is. Stop loss at this particular point in time is 39 pips going after, let's see. Let me go to the 2 hour because it'll make it a little bit faster. Okay. Got 39 pips going after 196. That's definitely more than a 1 to 3. Very much interested in being able to go from there. On this one, let's go to our Forex money advisor and see what should we enter in at on this overall trading pair. Speed up, please. I'd like to be able to get in a little bit earlier than what I am. Okay. All right, we got 39 pips. Said we're going out to 139. I think it was 193. Let's set it over again. Yeah, 193. I'm gonna go with a 3% risk because the market is in consolidation. I said I can end up hopping in with 7 mini lots to be able to hop in, and that's what I'm gonna end up doing. Obviously, here goes the first trade of the day. We'll see if we can be able to go in on this one and take the opportunity. Let's see. And we are in. Okay, there we go. First trade of the day is actually in. We're looking at trading oil to the downside. So we are in that overall pair right now at this particular point. And we are going from there. So oil is the first pair that we're in on this overall trading pair. Looking to be able to sell down back to support. We got a 5-minute break on this overall position. So we're going to see how this market is going to end up reacting to that and being able to go from there. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at gold. We are already in a position on gold, so I'm going to go ahead and explain what that position was, and then after that we go ahead and move forward and take a look at the US based pairs. I need to speed up a little bit so we can be able to maximize this time. We take a look at what's happening with gold. We take a look at what's happening with gold. We end up saying that the weekly was basically in the buy zone. Let me show you what that looks like right here. Weekly was in the buy zone, deep into the buy zone right now is at 17%. This market has been coming off of all-time highs where the market ended up hitting over 2,000. From there, we end up seeing that the market broke a counter trend line break bullish to the upside, and it has remained to be above that counter trend line break. So we should expect that this market, because it has retested already, which we had a breakout, we have a slight retest. We should expect that this market is going to end up pushing back up. Now, long term, we expect that the market is going to end up going to 23.31 for the overall weekly move. But a daily move, if we look at that in this overall position, we probably are looking at it a little bit differently. What I mean by that is this: we're still in the first swing of this overall daily move. So if we look at these new fibs from this daily move, let's see, I don't need that, so I just need to delete this. We can see that we're actually going, excuse me, we actually end up hitting a high of 1933. The market ended up retracing all the way down to the 786 area. So the market is expected to go to 1949 as the extension. So with that being said, the market is expected to be able to go from 1949 for it being able to move. I'm looking for what I was looking for was a move just slightly below that overall trend line and right before the point of control where a lot of people were basically buying that. So what we ended up noticing on the 2 hour was that the reason why we got in was based off of a counter trend line break inside of this overall channel area that we're looking at based off of the 15-minute, but we spotted it on the 2 hour. So let me show you what it looks like based off of the 2 hour and what I'm expecting to be able to see. This is kind of like what's happening with oil. We see that the 2 hours in the buy zone, with the 2 hour being in the buy zone. Come on, let's see, zoom in just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Let's give me a second. Okay, there we go. So we've seen that the market has hit support and resistance, support, resistance. It broke out of the actual support area actually last night. If we're looking at it, we see that this market has hit at support, went up to resistance, hit support, went up to resistance. I'm sorry, went up to resistance, hit support. The market has been banging at support, but it has been holding at support at this particular point in time, which is good, but somewhat kind of alarming as well. We can see that the point of control was basically at 18.99. We can see that we're above the point of control at this particular point as well. The market is in the buy zone for its overall pair, being able to look to be able to buy up. I'm expecting that the market is going to end up slowly climbing up and being able to go up to resistance in this channel. Well, what's so significant about that? We said that we wanted to get out in 1942. Well, based off of the way that this market has been retracing, the extension of this overall move would end up being at 1947. Well, if we get in and we remain to be patient on this overall move, we're talking about right around 300. The 300 points from this overall spot. I'm sorry. 48 points from this overall spot. We should be good when it comes down to this overall movement. Now, if you have not got in yet, do you have an opportunity to be able to get in at this particular point right now? I would say that we do have a counter trend line break and we have a bullish movement from here. So I would look at being able to get in. You want to be a little bit more precise for us being able to get in. I would say I will wait for this market to be able to give me another counter trend line break bullish based off of this overall move right here. Preferably in the buy zone if we can be able to get that on the 15-minute. And then after that, look to be able to trade it to the upside. Now, my stop loss when I ended up placing this was below the actual previous swing low at this position at 1888. And that gave me a little bit of room to allow the market to be able to move up, because if you look at it, the market went all the way down to 1894. So if my stop loss went below 1888 or the overall A of the move, then we probably would have been in trouble. But as the market is actually moving through and going through this overall swing, a couple areas to be able to pay attention to. We look at how this market is moving. If it gets past the 1910 area and it keeps on moving from there, we see a low profile volume, and then after that we see the market move from there. It basically retested above 1918 yesterday, and then after that started to fall. We're actually looking at a smaller channel that's actually happening in the inside of here as well. So we should see at least that the market is going to try to push up to 1918. If we get a breakout, then after that we should get the move up to 1947. So you want to look at being able to buy on gold, I would say look for a counter trend line break bullish. I'll place my stop right above 1888, and then after that, look to be able to buy up from there. You have a very good risk to reward position on that particular spot as well. So that's where we are when it comes down to gold. I'm going to leave this page and go ahead and go from there. You guys don't look at the currency strength chart, and let's go ahead and go to the U.S.-based pairs. We'll get to the NASDAQ 100 a little bit later on. I got to put my focus in on, obviously, some U.S.-based pairs. All right, so from a U.S.-based pairs perspective, I'm going to move my camera over here so everybody can be able to see me. First pair I want to take a look at is the, Australian dollar, United States dollar. Okay, for the people that end up selling this one, based off of what we ended up talking about a little bit earlier, and selling it down to the D extension, quite frankly, you have made your money. For a person like me that ended up getting out of the position but did not get back in, quite frankly, I've lost a lot. I lost small, but I did not get back in. So that's my fault on that one. For the people that end up taking advantage of that, congratulations. And quite frankly, since that overall move to the downside, you probably made about 70-something pips from this overall movement. Yep, 73. That sucks. I didn't take an opportunity on that one. When did that one happen? When that high? When was that high happening? It was at 5 o'clock. Okay, so from that 5 to 7 range, that's when the market ended up giving an opportunity to be able to sell. Quite frankly, it broke the inner trend line, broke the outer trend line, and then broke down from there. Currently, the market is in the buy zone. It's in a R3 position now, so we're going to end up seeing way more sellers. That's going to end up hopping into the market from the 2-hour perspective. That will end up completing and kind of pushing the market down. So if you're looking to scalp the market, you will get probably one more opportunity. See how the market basically reacts and goes up. It may end up retesting the overall may end up retesting the B from this overall move. If that does happen, then that's great. But I would look to buy a high price inside of the sell zone. If it doesn't give you a sell zone opportunity, then you don't have a trade. But that's unfortunate. I should have kept my eyes out on that one, or at least should have placed an alert on that one when that actually happened, because we actually ended up selling it. We was in the original position at 75. And currently right now we would have been up 30 something pips even if I would have stayed in that position for that spot right there. Okay, so $1 for the people that end up getting in. Obviously that trade that we ended up talking about a few days ago, congratulations. Stay with what you're doing, and then after that we'll go from there. Remember, this is more of a scalping trade, so if you're trying to get in, wait for the market to hit the B low. We have about from this position right now, I said the market just keeps on falling, you got about another 70 something pips for the market to be able to fall. Remember, when the market hits a R3, quite frankly, your stop loss has to be a little bit tighter. Depending on if the market retraces back up to the B, anything above the B will end up being your stop loss. So you got about a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio if it does happen. But currently right now, I'm on the sidelines right now for being able to look at that pair. Let's take a look at the euro versus the United States dollar. With the euro United States dollar, this market ended up pushing up to the upside, and then after that made more of a triangle going to the okay, that is something I haven't seen in a while. I want everybody to be able to see this real quick. So what ended up happening was this: market ended up falling, ended up pushing back up, and then after that having a flag go this way, and then after that push out of that overall zone as well. Let's take a look at this from the daily and weekly, and let's talk about where it is. Because remember, we talked about this, saying that the weekly was basically in the buy zone, so we should be looking for overall trades to the upside, or trades. We should start to possibly be looking at trades to the upside. So the weekly right now, even though it's not fully in the buy zone, it is considered to be, or will be considered to be bullish. The point of control is at 1.18. So anything above 1.18 will end up being a good bullish trade if you decide to be able to get in. We also know that the US dollar index is getting close to the sell zone, so this will be an opportunity that may end up being placed inside of, may end up being an opportunity to look to be able to buy long term. Courtney, thank you for the like. I do appreciate it. Dominique, thank you for the like. I do appreciate it. I hit them up in the comments so I can make sure I end up saying, hey, do appreciate that. We go to the daily. We see that this market is getting close to the buy zone. If you are interested in being able to trade this, the market has already hit. Let's see. Market's at 17% on the actual stochastic. We do have a counter trend line break right here already. Let me show you that counter trend line break. This has already happened right here. So what I would personally look for is that I would go to the 2 hour, see if we can be able to get a counter trend line break on the 2 hour, see if we can be able to get a low price on the 2 hour, and then buy it up from there. See, let me go to, here's our swing low down here, or the lowest price that end up moving. Currently right now, if this market continues to move where it is in an R3 position as well, we have a few more pips of overall movement to the upside. The D extension is going to end up being at 1.1857 for the upside move. The question is, do we have anywhere that we could be able to place our stop at and be able to get in at this particular point in time? Take profit is about 44 pips from here. Stop loss, and you place it below the swing low, we end up being 59 pips. I don't like the risk to reward. I like the move, but I would rather get into the second move that ends up happening off of this. What's expected to happen is this: we look at this market, we can see that this market goes from A to B, dropped all the way down, but did not break the A from there. The extension is expected to be at this position at 1.1857. I'm going to put my arrow right beside it. So once again, if you're a scalper of the market, maybe you might want to be able to get into it, but I don't like the stop loss that you'll have to be able to place in. Maybe we might end up getting a drop in the price because we have this bullish engulfing candlestick that end up happening right here. Maybe if we get a little bit more of a drop down and it retests this overall zone again, at 1.18, 1.1781. If it falls down one more time, then maybe you might have a position. So I'm looking at something like this. If it falls down one more time in this area, and then after that pops back up, maybe that might be a trade. But right now, I'm going to let that one pass me. The risk reward is not good enough to be able to take that one. I got room. I got time for one more, but overall, that's giving me good signs. So I'm going to look at the U.S. Canadian dollar as the last one. Let me tell you why. We looked at oil and we ended up taking a trade on oil to the upside. Oil to the downside. So we expect that oil is going to end up being weak. We look at the U.S. dollar index and we said that the U.S. dollar index has a little bit more room to be able to climb up to the sell zone. Both of them are not necessarily in the best particular pairs, but if we look at where they are when it comes down to the stochastic and the break of the daily, it's primed for at least a 30 to 50 pip move. So my question to y'all is, do you want to take a scalp trade on this overall trade if there's an opportunity from this overall pair? I would look at this and I would say maybe yes, if we could be able to get it. Currently right now, the market is in a no trade zone on the daily, so that's not necessarily the greatest thing to look at. But maybe if we get a low price on the 2 hour, I might consider it. So this is what we're looking at right here. Here goes our ABCD swing that we're expecting the market to be able to go. Got A to B. The market retraced all the way down to the 786. The market is expected to go to the 1.35 area. We said the point of control on this move is that 1.3580. If oil is going to end up getting weak, that typically means that the Canadian dollar is going to end up getting slightly weak. Remember, if we go back to the economic calendar, we have on Wednesday consumer price index and retail sales. So that means that today the market is going to be stagnated. There's probably not going to be that much of movement on its overall pair. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to look at it. Typically, let's talk before we get out of here. I go ahead and quickly explain it. With the Canadian dollar, before high impact news comes out, typically the day before, the market doesn't move pretty much at all. So even though it may end up giving you a very nice position to be able to look at, or a very nice spot to be able to look at, unless you end up getting inside of the buy zone, that's not necessarily, the market can move so quickly, it can take you out of your position or put you in a bad position because of the way that people end up trading when it comes down to the economic news. So typically what I will end up doing is I just wait about 15 minutes until after the news has came out and the dust is settled before it end up taking a trade from there. Quite frankly, we don't have that, and plus we look at the 2 hour. The 2 hours in a no trade zone, and it's not a buy low price. So remember, when a buy low, want to buy low in the buy zone, or for being able to buy and want to trade with confirmation, we have neither when it comes down to this. AJ, what's going on? Hope everything's going well. I'm going to take a look at the New Zealand dollar as the last pair because I want to see if there is a trading opportunity. If there is, and after that, we'll look at being able to hop in that. If we don't have it, then we'll go ahead and close out. So we look at the daily, we can see that the market has broken the trend line bearish. Okay, that's good news. Now, that's a breakout. Now we're looking for a retest. Let me show you what I'm talking about for this move. As I zoom in, we can see that this market has broke out, retested, went all the way up to almost a 618 and then broke down again. So currently the market is at an R2 position. This is probably the highest probability trade that you could be able to take that gives you very good quality for us being able to get in. Now, with that being said, remember, we don't want to chase out the breakouts. We want the market to be able to retest on an overall move. Maybe we might get a retest off of this move. This market may end up doing something like this. May end up getting more of a rejection, and then after that, a fall back from there. If we can get that, then it's absolutely a good trade to be able to take. Let's take a look at it from a 2 hour perspective. We can see that the market is definitely in the buy zone based off of that movement to the downside. What I would look for is that I would want the market to be able to give a retracement slightly up, test the backside of this trend line right around, you can see this market has hit right there as support, right there support, right there support. I would want the market to be able to hit back up here as past support turns into future resistance, and then after that look to be able to fall from there. So the idea would say, okay, Let's allow the market to be able to push back up. If we have an opportunity to be able to sell it, then after that, let's go ahead and take that position. We don't have that position, then obviously the risk to reward is not going to end up playing out. So we don't have a actual natural position to be able to get into. All right, let's look at it from a field perspective, and let's see what's actually going on from here. There goes our field. We can see that the market ended up retracing all the way up to the 618. The market's in an R3 zone. We may get a slight retracement. If we do, then that's great. If it doesn't, same deal. I will not chase after this market. If it comes back and it gives us an opportunity, then let's take it. If it doesn't give us an opportunity, then we missed out on a trading opportunity on the New Zealand, on the Australian dollar. Hopefully my automated systems caught it. And that's the reason why you have automated systems, because it works for you while you're sleeping. And then after that, you can be able to go from there. Speaking of automated systems, as we close out on this overall, as we close out on this overall day, if you like what we end up doing, please make sure that you end up liking the Carter Cow Capital business page. Please make sure that you end up subscribing with Trade with Travis and being able to hop in on that. Remember, we have our Believe in Yourself Bootcamp that's going to end up happening October 26th to October 30th. Remember, it's $20 a day. You're going to end up getting your equity management systems. We're going to teach you how to be able to get started with a broker and help you get started with a broker. You're going to learn exactly how to be able to get started when it comes down to Forex trading. So if you are a beginner, if you're somebody that's looking to dip your toe in the water, this is a great chance to be able to get started with being able to do that. We've had over, just in the boot camp alone, we've had over 100 clients be able to go from that. And then after that, we've had some of them hop inside of the masterclass and be able to go from there. But if you want to learn how to be able to get started trading, but you don't want to spend as much money to be able to get started, you want to learn a simple and repeatable strategy to be able to go from there. And you're looking for overall mentorship, I think it's a very good opportunity to be able to hop in. Plus, like I said, with overall automated systems, what it will allow you to do is be able to hop in and be able to get some discounts on what our automation systems actually end up offering. And the one that we're going to end up looking at for you is going to end up being based off of what your overall trading style is. If you're a scalper, then we have one that's set up for us being able to scalp. If you're looking for something that's going to give you a little bit more of a position trade, you can be able to do that as well. But that'll be something to be able to talk about in the near future. Like always, plan your trade your plan. I see each and every one of y'all tomorrow morning. For the people that end up trading on oil, hopefully the trading guys will end up being good with us when it comes down to that. And make sure, since you're here, say bye. Bye. There we go. I'll see each and every one of y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good one.